Mark Waid gets right into his next storyline this issue with a fun little murder mystery involving the world's finest and Metamorpho, a highly underrated DC character that should absolutely be more popular than he is. Waid obviously knew that he wasn't well known, and a good chunk of this issue is dedicated to telling Rex Mason's origins, so it's a fantastic issue for readers who don't know much about the character and maybe want to learn more. Like how the previous issues we got Supergirl and Robin as secondary leads, Jimmy Olsen steps in this time, and Waid makes him more than just a photo guy at the Daily Planet staff, making him a more capable reporter in his own right, and that leads to a really cool twist ending that I look forward to Mark playing around with next issue. Dan Mora again comes in and gives us an absolute visual treat, and if you thought the book was colourful before, Dan ups his ante with a multicoloured Metamorpho gracing many of the pages, as well as giving us some really neat action sequences with the hero's powers, and he had a great flow to Wade's retelling of Rex's origins, helping to make it very clear and understandable. Batman Superman World's Finest issue 13 was another fantastic opening to a new story, retreading a hero's origins for unfamiliar readers before dropping a very cool twist ending. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Batman Superman World's Finest issue 13 finds Batgirl and Supergirl learning from the heroes that Batmite and Mxyzptlk were pretending to be them, and they actually fooled Clark, Bruce, and Dick. Robin knows that Jimmy wasn't fooled since his camera revealed the truth behind the illusions. Supergirl questions why Batman, the world's greatest detective, didn't know, but the hero says that he's the one who told Jimmy to take the picture. The Bat and Superman families head out in their respective directions, and Batgirl isn't too pleased to owe Jimmy Olsen one as Jimmy heads back down to the Daily Planet, talking to himself about how he feels like a burden to the heroes. Clark meets Jimmy on the stairs, asking who he was talking to. Jimmy quickly waves it away, asking what he heard, but Clark didn't hear much since Perry was screaming for him and Jimmy. The reporters go to see the editor-in-chief, who reveals that they need to get over to the Hotel Metro, as Simon Stagg was found murdered there. Alfred meanwhile contacts Batman, telling him of Stagg's death and asking if Bruce Wayne had a meeting with Stagg set for tomorrow. Bruce confirms he did, and he'll be late home for dinner, turning the Batmobile around. Robin thinks that this is Metropolis, so this should be a job for Superman, but Batman reveals that both he and Clark have a unique interest in Stagg, or more accurately, someone in his employ, Rex Mason. Clark meanwhile fills Jimmy in on who Rex Mason is, surprised to find the man is Stagg's bodyguard, considering they hate each other. Clark reveals that Rex was an adventurer who fell in love with Sapphire Stagg, Simon's daughter, which enraged the man since he saw Rex as beneath his daughter's tastes. Simon arranged to have Rex killed, sending his servant Java with Rex, who went to unearth the Orb of Ra in the Lost Pyramid of Akton. Rex discovered the orb was made of a radioactive meteor, and that's when Java attacked Rex, and he fell deeper into the pyramid, getting too close to the meteor, which bombarded him with radiation, effectively melting the man, but he did not die. Instead, the elements in his body were rearranged, and while he was still Rex, he couldn't remember how to rebuild himself into a human form. Rex became suicidal, however he couldn't kill himself or his body. Rex returned to Sapphire, who still loved the man he was and helped rehabilitate him. While rehabilitating, Rex learned that he could call forth any elements within his body and combine them to make compounds, using them one time to protect Sapphire from an assassin. Rex began forming himself into a human form again and returned as Metamorpho, the Element Man. Jimmy and Clark arrive at the murder scene, but the cops won't let him in. Clark spots Batman and Robin going into the building from the roof. Clark doesn't think that he and Jimmy will be able to find anything in the room, but there is a murderer on the loose, and if Jimmy wants, they can share the byline on this story. Clark tells him to go and dig up some suspects and who would benefit from Simon's death while he goes to work a different angle. Clark changes and meets with Batman and Robin up in the room. Batman says that this is a classic locked room mystery, and Stagg always rents a private suite with an inner office. A housekeeper found him dead from a poison, and Batman doesn't know how it was delivered into his system in a room which was locked from the inside. Superman tells him that Rex is missing as well and stays on Stagg's payroll so he can be near Sapphire, and Simon has always promised him that he'll find a cure for his condition. Bruce thinks that this could be a motive and a means for Rex to have killed him, wanting Superman to see if he can find Metamorpho while Robin runs some tests on Simon's body. Robin reminds him that Metamorpho is a good guy, as Superman says he has found Rex using his telescopic X-ray vision, and Batman won't believe where he is. 5 minutes earlier, at the Egyptian wing of the the Metropolis History Museum, a group of high-tech thieves break in and steal a bunch of the exhibits. Metamorpho appears, trapping them in a cage. He notices one of the men is missing as he spots the man trying to make his way through the exit they blew in the side of the building. Batman appears in front of the man, demanding that he drop the weapon. The man tries to blast the hero with his gun, revealing to Batman that he's using Quakemaster tech. Superman arrives and saves the guards, speeding back into the building to save the exhibits from smashing as Batman moves in to take the man and the weapon out. Metamorpho gets there first, melting the man's weapon into nothing. Batman tells Rex not to worry about the cleanup since Superman will handle it as the Man of Steel takes the crooks to the local Metropolis Police Department. Meanwhile, at Stag Mansion, Jimmy meets with Sapphire, thanking her for sharing her father's calendar and files with him. The grieving woman hopes that Superman and his power will be able to find her father's killer, and Jimmy knows that they will as Java grabs him, demanding the reporter leave since this is a private matter. Java throws Jimmy out of the house as Sapphire wishes him good luck. Metamorpho meanwhile learns that Simon was killed, but he only wants to go and see Sapphire. Batman can tell that he doesn't seem so upset that Simon is dead, and he hasn't even asked who killed him. Rex says that he was only thinking of Sapphire first and foremost as Batman implores that his longtime friend try to account for where he was that afternoon. Rex says that he turned himself into helium and was floating around the city seeing the sights. He hopes that Batman isn't calling him a suspect, but the hero assures him that he's only doing his job. Batman meets with Superman on the roof, asking if Clark could hear if Metamorpho was lying, but Clark says he couldn't since Metamorpho does not have a traditional heartbeat. Batman reveals that Robin contacted him and told him that Simon was poisoned with a VX nerve gas, something that while banned could easily be generated by Rex's powers and he could enter the hotel room without being noticed. Superman says that Batman always assumes the worst with people, but they have known Rex for years and this doesn't sound like him at all. Batman wishes that he had the hero's optimism, but Stag was evil and manipulative, and he cost Wayne Enterprises alone millions by interfering in deals that would have helped the people of Gotham, all because Bruce Wayne beat him in tennis once. Bruce knows that he'll get to the bottom of this as Jimmy pores over the Stag files, interviews the coroner, and runs down any leads. He shows the story he's written to Clark, assuring him that he turned over every rock he could, so it's airtight. He reveals that thanks to his theory reaching Inspector Henderson's ears, the police are moving in within the hour, so not only did he crack the case, the Daily Planet will be the first to report the story. Clark thinks that he missed something since this isn't right and this isn't in the suspect's nature. Jimmy thinks that that's just an opinion and journalism is about the facts, which as reporters they are obligated to report on. Perry thinks that Clark isn't telling them something, wanting to know his reasonings for why this man is innocent. Clark knows he just cannot have done this, but he can't say why, meaning Jimmy's story gets to go ahead as the Daily Planet reports on the arrest of Bruce Wayne for the murder of Simon Stagg.